Welcome to Stuck, Time to Improv. I'm Mary Scott with Business Riff, and I want startup businesses to be wildly successful. Today, we're talking with Janice Porter from Janice Porter Associates, and we'll be talking about relationship marketing and lead generation for startups. You need to find the money somewhere, so this is a good place to start. Welcome, Janice. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much, Mary. It's my pleasure.
So let's talk about what is relationship marketing.
Well, that's a loaded question, actually, because for most people, I think when they hear the term, they think marketing. That's the first thing that hits them. For me, it's the opposite. It's relationships. And I've taken it into effect the 80-20 rule, only it's more about building relationships so people can know, like, and trust you and want to do business with you rather than marketing 80% of the time and worrying about the relationship afterwards. So for me, it's about getting to know people. And you know that the old saying that people don't care about you until they know that you care. I think that fits in there too, is that it's all about getting to know the person that wants to do business with you and making them feel comfortable with you.
Okay, so do you have some tips for how to do that effectively?
Well, it depends. Yes, but it depends where you are, whether it's online or in person. I think the most important thing when you meet somebody for the first time is to make them feel welcome and to ask questions. Ask them so that they will talk. They will tell you about themselves and their business and what they're looking for, so that you can listen for those pain points and you can listen for the solutions that you may bring, even though you might not jump back at them with that right away because it's too soon, at least in my estimation. You want to build some rapport with people first. Now, I do a lot of LinkedIn training and I do a lot of networking. I teach people how to network on LinkedIn and how to build that rapport through messaging first, and then take it offline to a Zoom call or an in-person meeting. But when you're doing it online and you're doing it specifically in my world of LinkedIn, the key is that when you first connect with somebody, have you paid attention? Have you read their profile? Have you even looked at their website? Have you looked for something of interest or common bond that you could talk about to make them feel comfortable with you right away?
That's really important. And it has to do with making the conversation about the person you're talking to rather than making it about you.
Correct.
I like to tell people, you don't need to know what I can do. You need to know what I can do for you.
Absolutely. Exactly. Yeah.
So I need to know you better to have a better idea of what in this vast background is going to be relevant.
Right. Exactly. It's not about I've done this, I've done that, I've done the other. It's do you have this problem? Are you struggling with this? Is this a challenge for you? Then let's talk. Perhaps I can help.
And what about lead generation? Does that come from the relationships too, or are there some other things that
It's
people
kind
can
of,
do?
yes, it does. It's sort of the first thing that happens for me when I'm working with clients on LinkedIn is, who do you want to connect with? What type of industry, what vertical market, or what title, what is it we're looking for? Who are we looking for on LinkedIn? Then we would do an appropriate advanced search to find those people in the area that we're looking for in particular, and start looking at their profiles. And we're looking for different things to make sure that they're at least active on LinkedIn, so that when we reach out to them, they'll respond more likely than not. And then when they respond, they're responding to a connection request. So they're going to say nothing. They're just going to accept, or they're going to accept and say, hey, nice to meet you, or thanks for connecting. But now the onus is back on you to start that relationship and to build some rapport. And that's when the dialogue starts around looking at their profile and seeing how you can start the conversation and look for ways to have them engage back in a message to you. The goal is always to take the new lead or the new prospect offline to a one-on-one in person or over Zoom, so that you can see the whites of their eyes, so that you can start to make them feel comfortable with you and move it forward that way. One of my secret messages that I like to send to people is something around, what can I find out about you? What can you tell me that I can't find out about you from your profile? Here's my little secret. And I tell them mine. And then it starts a conversation, because they usually say, oh, that's fun. And they respond and they react. And when you get them talking, you can see that they're smiling. And so you can move forward.
Right. And startups need to make 3 different kinds of relationships. There's the potential customers.
Yes.
And then there's this potential strategic alliances. So other folks that have the same customers as you, but provide different services for them.
Right.
And then the third group that startups need to be able to deal with are investors. And one of the biggest mistakes a lot of startups make is that they go for the investors before they've gotten any customers or any strategic alliances. Investors, it's a whole other level of relationships, right?
Absolutely. And I think if you're going after investors, then you really have to have your ducks in a row. So for me, as a LinkedIn trainer, I would make sure that my client had their fully optimized profile that really makes them shine and shows them in their, in their glory, so that, because of course, especially investors, they're going to do a little research on you and they're going to check you out, and your LinkedIn profile will come up really high on Google searches. So it's important that it be ready.
And when you're making comments to investors, when you're sending messages, ask for advice. Don't ask for money.
Oh gosh, no.
What was the last person you funded and what made them special to you? Those kinds of things. I noticed that you seem to be very involved in this aspect of tech. Is this something you're interested in investing in, or why? What makes this interesting to you?
But wouldn't you have done your research to know that that is the lane that they're in, and perhaps say that, and flatter them, always flatter people and show them that, you respect what they've done so far, and just maybe be soft with the approach. Like you said, you're not going to ask for money, but you might say, I noticed that you have funded A, B, and C businesses most recently. And they all seem to be very interesting and doing well in the marketplace. Are you in the market, to expand your portfolio, or, those kinds of questions. You can go around the edges as opposed to being super direct to start with. But you're right. They need to have some validation first before they go out to the investors.
You need to have demonstrated that you really understand your marketplace. And it's always good to get feedback from customers and potential customers. Is what you're offering what they actually need? Would they like it tweaked in some way? Are they willing to pay X dollars for it? Is that price right? Is it too low? If you don't ask your potential customers, it's kind of hard to figure it out for sure and get it right the first time.
Well, and I don't know whether this is kosher to say this, but you don't have to get it right the first time. I mean, but you have to start, and, you can always tweak from there. Right. And I think that goes for, and you probably, well, you're the queen of video. I'm nervous doing video all the time. So I'm like, no, I don't want to do it. It won't be perfect. But now I'm trying to go past that and say, it's okay if it's imperfect. Just do the little video and be done with it for now. And then you can always do it again, right?
Yes, done is better than perfect.
Exactly.
Well, thank you very much, Janice Porter from Janice Porter Associates. This is Mary Scott with Business Riff, and I want startups to be wildly successful. We'll put Janice's information in the comments so that you can connect with her later. And I highly recommend you book a call with me, because I have resources the likes of which you've no idea. So join us again for Stuck, Time to Improv.